whole reason I've been openly documenting my journey. The whole reason I've been openly documenting my journey and discoveries the way I have is to actually show the world who the true criminals are. Those set on total destruction and devastation to our way of life, to our Constitution, especially the ones in positions of power and authority that rule on their feelings instead of ruling equivocally and by established law. Those susceptible to influence, and of course the immoral and unethical influencers themselves that abuse their power, money, and other means to absolutely destroy lives for their own personal gain. The ones who destroyed my life for their own personal gain. To show how low these low-life thugs hit, which is far lower than I even imagined when I tossed care and any inkling of fear to the side and said enough is enough. Hitting low is one thing, but hitting below the belt to a flagrant abuse of an unbelievably tainted legal and judicial system and steadily using that as a weapon of choice is a full-blown declaration of war on American soil. By the very definition of a domestic enemy. This is exactly what our founding fathers warned us about and had the knowledge to foresee in the future. That is why they crafted the Constitution the way they did, and that is why everything is laid out the way it is in the Declaration of Independence that preceded our Constitution. I believe the preamble says it best in saying that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I 100% declare this to be a constitutional crisis and an ethical atrocity. I have demonstrated and produced non-stop evidence supporting just that the entire time. Beyond all doubt, this area has casted the largest casket of lies I've ever imagined. It has fallen gullible to extremely corrupt judges, appointed and elected officials, law enforcement agencies, both state, county, and federal, the liberal news media completely ignoring all evidence and proof of wrongdoing, and so the majority of the citizens in this area.
This is the phone conversation I had with Matt Reardon right after the wing incident. This is a phone call with Matt Reardon. Friday, 8:27 p.m.
Hello?
Matt, this is Todd. You got a minute?
Can y'all hear?
Todd,
Lynch.
what's up?
You need a second to record this or something?
No, not at all. I mean,
Let me just say.
everything is as straightforward as possible because your wife,
Excuse me, I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I called you.
That's cowardice.
This is a recall. Calling him back. Oh, this makes me so mad I'm shaking.
Y'all can hear now?
Give 5 seconds to fucking answer. Listen to me or I'm gonna hang up again.
I'm calling you to speak to you calmly, not to go on a rant, okay? The response you received from Ashley, if I'm correct, from several people that told me what happened, was because you called her a bitch, Matt.
No.
Is that not what happened?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What
That's
happened?
a fucking lie.
Tell me what happened.
What happened was I was eating my chicken wings and I looked over and she was over there and I said, Ashley, can I speak to you? And she said no. And I said, Ashley, I have patronized your bar for the last week straight. I think you deserve an opportunity to talk to me.
Okay.
And she refused to freaking talk to me. And I said, that's fucking ridiculous.
Okay. Well,
And she came over and grabbed my wings and tossed them out.
all right.
And I'd already fucking paid for them. They weren't even on tab to even be refunded. I'd already fucking paid for them.
All right, well, calm down. Let me just tell you one thing, and I'm talking to you calmly because I actually have entertained you coming in here, and you haven't bothered anybody, even though I have received numerous complaints from customers that are trying to come in here and have a good time and enjoy themselves.
I haven't
and you're
bothered the
harassing
first
people.
person. I've only wanted to be left alone when I come in there. Look at the cameras.
I
don't
look at it all
bother
the time.
anybody.
I have it recorded.
No. I'll pull your fucking cameras if you want to pull this with me. I'll show the courts that I have not bothered anybody. I've only wanted to be left the fuck alone.
Okay, well, if that's the case, Matt, then you do whatever you feel need to be done. I'll be expecting to be sued for whatever reason that you can come up
No,
with.
I'm not suing you. I'm not suing you. I threw you out to the wolves, so you can sue me if you want to sue me.
You
But I'm
have
not
nothing for
suing
me
you.
to take, Matt. That's fine. I'm just telling you that when you come into a business and you call either myself or Ashley a derogatory term, that is the response you're going to receive. This
Well,
is your
you know
formal
what?
notice.
When she-
Excuse me. This is
when-
your formal
no, when
notice.
she- when she
Excuse me.
When she fucking
Excuse
ignores
me.
me and throws out my food, she deserves every fucking thing that she gets. Goodbye.
If we are running a business, we do not have time. All right, you're.
So that's where he hung up.
Just press.
You know, that doesn't really prove anything, but other than us as a community, we do need to get together and try to figure out our problem resolution here, because Matt Reardon is a danger to our society, and he's going to be a problem. Mark my words.
Bob Norman. Finally caught you.
Excuse me, I'm on the phone.
Yes, sir. You've been a hard guy to reach. Well, I'm still trying to get to the bottom of everything. It's been fraudulent concealment out the ass. You know you guys are holding on to something, they're not giving up.
You know what? There's no point in me responding to that because you're not gonna reason anyway.
I just want to know.
Ask you something. You talk about being a Marine Corps veteran.
That's right.
The Marine Corps kicked you out because you couldn't hack it.
They kicked me out because I couldn't hack it. I'd like to see.
Discharge you have.
Huh?
No, what kind of discharge do you have?
It's a general, under other than honorable conditions for alcohol rehabilitation failure because.
You couldn't hack it.
No, because I witnessed 2 gruesome suicides. Because I couldn't hack it. Let me see your service. Where's your service record at, Blowhard Buff?
I spent 10 years in the Marine Corps and came out with an honorable discharge.
Oh, yeah? So why can't you apply the law?
I do. You're a convicted felon.
Okay, and I've also, per the
Get out of my
rights
face.
granted
Get out of my
to me
face
in the
now.
Constitution,
Get
I have
out of my
every
face.
right to obtain justice, to seek justice. Every right. Granted to me under the United States Constitution. Under the United States Constitution, you're a crooked son of a bitch.
Choose woman.
Hey, April, is Alan Wilburn nearby?
Hello?
Alan Wilson.
Yes.
Matt Reardon.
Okay.
Hey, I'm outside. I was if you had that evidence.
I do not, because your case has been, you pled guilty, so all that stuff is in a file, and we no longer look back at it.
You do realize the burden of proof shifts to you if I bring a lawsuit for your libelous comments, correct? Scott! Hey, come here, I gotta show you something. Hey, I got something I want to show you, man. Hey. You see the police? About the fraud up there at fraud is so I talked to luckily I had the screenshots. Don't be back, full strength.
Freedom ain't free. It comes with a price tag. Yeah, you know who it is. Life been going for a little while. Kid, Kilo Jones, just now bills. All they call me Jumbo.
Weird as shit.
Reminded rhymes, real bold, like a cheer play for play. You really Democrat. Another one, just for fun. I think it's him. He's back again. Oh shit, it's that.
Al, how you gonna tell me you destroyed the evidence? But you're gonna lie to the Oxford Eagle. You're gonna lie to the Oxford Eagle and then tell me you destroyed the evidence. How you gonna lie to the Oxford Eagle and then destroy the damn evidence? You didn't lie when you said that I threatened their life. You didn't lie to them when you said that I threatened their life. You didn't lie to them when you said I steadily drove by. I'm the liar. I'm the liar. Okay, where's the evidence to back up for your frivolous, silly, lame-ass claims? Huh? Okay, but you said that I steadily drove by their place and put them in fear of their life. You're a joke. You're a damn joke. I ain't going there. I wrote a blank check to our government for an amount of my life to protecting the flag and the Constitution against shit like that. I'm very cool on my thing. No, that's the thing. I got the evidence that it's a framed crime against, and y'all think it's just a joke. Yeah, that's why you just looked away smiling? No, I'm not shooting. All this person that you're doing and nobody doesn't know that like write me a ticket. So that's what it's about now? Y'all you wanna make it worse? Then it's already been. I've already lost my economic opportunity. I've been attacked 10 ways to Sunday, and then you wanna talk about I shouldn't be mad? I don't think you shouldn't be mad. Y'all come out here as a crew, not one of you truly understand what it's like. I found fraud at circuit court. They're changing records. They're steadily trying to play cover up. He's destroying evidence. It's ridiculous.
Have you contacted an attorney about any of that?
That's the thing. Ray Tannehill. It all goes up to the top, to the mayor's office. It's funny that Ray Tannehill gets appointed by the Supreme Court to the Mississippi Bar Tribunal. You know, coincidentally, the people that you complain to if it's a bad attorney. I was misrepresented. Well, none of the attorneys will have anything to do with me, and I know it's because of influence. You go to writingwiththeoutlaw.com and go to mattreardon.com. Look at all the freaking, I mean, it's indisputable. It's indisputable. There's fraudulent concealment going on. They're the May 24th phone call, which is what Jared Bundard got the warrant from. Nobody will tell me who made the call. I know it came from the top. That's why, because honestly, the covenant to not sue, Lafayette County, the Sheriff's Department, all that, the county would have been perfectly fine had they not have fraudulently concealed and refused to produce the information requested on a public information request, which was that. Now the covenant to not sue is kind of out the window, because now I have a reason to sue. Until they did that, I was kind of stuck by the covenant to not sue they made me sign. So it has to be somebody really important that made the call, and all evidence points to the Tannehills. See, the funny thing is, 22nd they took out an injunction on me. I get hunted down on the 23rd, 24th, mysterious phone call comes in. The 25th, I meet with the FBI. They will not produce the 302 request from the from the sit-down meeting on the 25th. 26th, I get ambushed. I'm supposed to get 48 hours in jail before I get a bond hearing. I'm held for 96. Nobody's given any kind of explanation for that.
96 days?
96 hours. So 4 days. 4 days. You have to go before a judge within 2. It was 4 days before I went before a judge. Judge Bell, Carolyn Bell, she refused to let me address the court to show that I had a bill of sale proving I didn't purchase the AR-15 until May 20th. They allege on or before May 8th. I used that AR-15 to put the Lynches in fear of their life. But I was going to their bar every day pretty much up until the 19th of May. Why would I put them in fear of their life? I don't even know where they live. And then, it's the craziest witch hunt ever. It's destroyed my life over lies.
Well, none of us out here personally work on your case.
No, I know.
We don't know anything about your case as far as that goes.
I just want to find answers. I'm doing my due diligence as afforded to me by my rights in order the few rights I have left, in order to seek vindication and to hold the responsible parties accountable that are the true criminals. Because I'm going to tell you, if they could do it to me, if the government could do it to me, a Marine Corps veteran who pledged a lifetime oath to our country to protect and defend it, they could do it to anybody. And that's the scary part. They do it to somebody that freaking pledged their life to our country. I was a airframe and hydraulic mechanic. I was, unfortunately, I never deployed. I was in a non-deployable squadron. BMAT 203. It was 4 years. From the end of 2007 was when I joined in December, and I got out in 2011. I got out for alcohol rehabilitation failure. There were 2 gruesome suicides. One of them it was June. It was at Camp Devil Dog, the Marine combat training that I was in. That was the last time that they allowed live rounds on Armory Watch. The dude found out that his girlfriend back home was deer johnning him. And
you went to rehab?
Yeah, I went to rehab while I was in the Marine Corps, and then after rehab, they had strict orders for me not to drink, and fuck no. Hell no.
I think that's right.
Huh. Do I sound like I'm under the influence? Am I making any kind of weird movements like I'm under the influence? I think you would be pretty pissed off. Like I said, put yourself in my shoes for a second. I'm trying to find out why. The Oxford Eagle article, there were millions of splinters sent through this area based on lies. Alan Wilburn's in the Oxford Eagle article saying that I would drive by their place and I threatened their life multiple times. Yet there's no proof. I never once threatened anybody. I've always claimed to be a patriot. I would never put anybody in harm's way. I would protect innocent people, my family, myself. That would be the only time I would engage somebody.
But, I mean, I just simply want to know, where's his proof for saying that? How's he going to give? He's been doing this stuff for long enough. He should know better. He should use the word allegedly. Okay? And something that's currently going on, the word allegedly. You don't actually say in fact something to the media unless you actually have proof. And he knows that. And I'm asking him for his proof because that's what a lot of people are going on and spreading their lies, and he doesn't have it. Imagine your name just freaking ripped to shreds. And you got Sleepy right here.
How are you? See, Matt, this is where when you were being tried for the crime.
I wasn't tried. Look, that's what I was trying to tell you. Judge Bell gave me a $150,000 bond, okay? 4 days after I was arrested, knowing that I couldn't afford that, okay? No. I sat in jail 6 weeks. I kept trying to get a bail reduction hearing. The guidelines established by the Supreme Court say for a crime up to 10 years. And see, aggravated...
Probation or anything?
Huh? No. I was given 5 years. I was given 5 years supervised probation. Yeah.
Your attorney could have filed for a motion to discover.
He didn't. My attorney was part of the problem. That's why I'm so angry. My attorney was part of the problem. He told me to if I didn't plea out, that they were going to throw the book at me. They were going to railroad me with a whole bunch of other charges, made up charges, to get a guaranteed conviction so they could send me to Parsons. And so I could either plea out and take the banishment and leave Oxford and Lafayette County for 5 years, surrender my guns. My daughter lives over here, and she's been used as a wedge in the court the entire time. She was used as a wedge in the court then to manipulate a favored outcome.
What did you do?
Huh?
What did you do?
What did I do? Yeah. I took the advice of my attorney because I wasn't getting a bond reduction hearing. And a presumably innocent person sitting in jail for 6 weeks, not given the opportunity to get a bond that he could afford to get out. The same thing. No,
it sounds like you need to be going to talk to your attorney. Like this, you need to be
but there's people in this county. No, my attorney is part of the problem. He's the most corrupt thing of all. I don't have anything to do with it.
Well, how are you alone? Get him to go talk to
What's my money?
Well, coming up here harassing people.
Harassing?
Yeah.
No. What has happened to me? What has happened to me has been complete, absolute hell. And so what I'm doing is what I'm constitutionally allowed to do.
Matt, the North Mississippi Rural Legal Service
Can't. Because of my ex, the one that's used my daughter against me in court. She has Christy McCoy. She put a false rape accusation against me back in November of 2018. She just went to court. She just got sentenced to 30 days because they treated it as a misdemeanor for filing a false rape accusation. Because Christy McCoy is the attorney over there at Rural Legal Services. I can't go to them for anything because of conflict of interest.
Have you tried a different county? If they have a rural
I've called so many different attorneys, man. I mean, it's ridiculous.
What do you do for work?
I mean, I used to have about $8,000 a month of residual coming in before everything happened in 2017. I just got a $10,000 payout on that, and then boom, I get freaking framed for a crime I didn't commit. I'm sitting in jail. My money, my residual income steadily dwindling. Now it's down to about $1,500 a month, and my ex takes $600 of it. And I haven't even seen my child since January. It's kidnapping. This is organized crime. It's RICO. It's got RICO written all over it.
Well, we can't.
I know, but I want you to know, when you see me, when I'm trying to get to the bottom of something, it's because I have a legitimate reason. You know, the freedom of the press shall not be abridged. Okay, and that's what I feel like I'm doing. There have been people that have said I'm going about it the wrong way with writing with the Outlaw, but I'm certain of my wrongness if I'm wrong. Okay, because I'm tired of there being.
What's wrong with the Outlaw?
It's the live documentary.
Oh, okay. Well, ultimately, I don't think you're going to get the answers you're looking for
come up here talking to the major as far as a 4 or 5 year old.
The major's a coward.
It's a 4 or 5 year old.
No, it's a 3-year-old case.
3-year-old case. However, at the end of the day,
I was also blocked from coming back to town until a few months ago. Okay, so
you've been coming up here since then.
Okay, and I have every right to. I have every right to. Look what happened to me. The major's a coward. He is an absolute coward.
Well, that's your personal opinion, but it's not going to solve your problem. You're going to have to get legal representation to solve the problem, because you're not going to get the answers you're looking for out of him. If the case is over, I mean, it's a fact. He pled guilty to it, so, I mean, we don't sit here and reminisce on old cases and just open up the file like, oh, look at this.
I know it's easy for you to say, because your economic opportunity wasn't destroyed. You didn't have millions of lies spread throughout the area and surrounding areas about you. You didn't have your family completely destroyed over it. All right, so yeah, that's easy to say.
If you come about it the right way,
I'm pretty sure
he'll love to talk to you.
No, I caught him red-handed yesterday.
If you're doing all this like you did with the last incident, nobody's going to want to talk to you.
I caught him red-handed yesterday, and that was when he told me today that he doesn't have the evidence. When he knew all along there was no evidence, because I never did it. So, you know what? It's about time that people get held accountable for the crimes they commit. The system is unjust, it's unequal, the laws are applied unequally, and it's about time that shit change.
Well, Matt, honestly, it's nothing personal. If some other person came up here and said, hey, I pled guilty to a case 3 years ago, well, let me get that evidence.
This area has known that they framed me. There's no doubt about it. They have known, they have played a part in it, and they have benefited from it. They have personally found benefit from it. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He used that as a publicity stunt back in May of 2017. May and June. You got to look at and then look at the dates on everything. Look at the dates on everything. Tannehill gets elected mayor June 6th. Okay, that was exactly a week, 7 days after my bond hearing. They did that because they knew that I wouldn't be able to get in front of a judge to get my bond reduced in time to get out. To bring the information.
Citizens of Oxford elected Mayor Tannehill.
No, she was already set. She was already set to come on. She knows. They know that they already violated the law by coming after me for constitutionally protected activity. You look at the restraining order that they took out on me back in May of 2017. The stuff listed in there, it's not criminal. No, I'm saying that was the preliminary injunction that Ray Tannehill took out representing his wife, Robin. Back in
whenever you
that was when y'all no. I went and met with the FBI because he was part of the problem of keeping my daughter away from me, and they also took out that emergency injunction to bar me from speaking at City Hall on June 6th, the day of her election. I was on the agenda.
Now, you had
I'm listed.
Brought on you about something of that nature.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I can't remember because it's been a while.
No, May 1st, Timmy Pruitt arrested me standing in front of the Confederate statue.
What was the thing about Ray?
The thing about Ray was May 16th. I spoke out at City Hall. Pat Patterson wouldn't let me speak. He said I had to put my name on the agenda for the next meeting. I said I'm going to address this session anyways. And see, they knew that I was going to speak. They had Oxford Police Department officers sitting right beside me the whole time. I wasn't there to hurt, cause any harm to anybody. But I was addressing the government. I was petitioning the government for redress of grievances over the state flag. And so I stood up and I said, each of y'all, and I pointed to each of the Board of Alderman members and the mayor, and I said, each of y'all are a cultural Marxist if you choose to continue taking state funds from the state of Mississippi through tax dollars, yet refuse to fly the state flag, which was voted in by the taxpayers. To me, that's a slap in the face, and a slap in the face to democracy and our constitutional republic, our way of voting. Okay? The taxpayers vote for something If you don't listen to it, if you choose to go about your own way, why are you taking taxpayer dollars? That was my issue, okay? So because I called each of them a cultural Marxist, that was what they went off of. It was a joke on that injunction order. Tannehill's over there giving a sworn affidavit saying that I went to City Hall with a gun on my hip, and that I looked at her, and that I pointed at her with a gun on my hip. It was holstered. What's wrong with that? Joke. She's an illegitimate mayor. She used what happened to me to help shield their crimes, and they still are. I mean, you look at the website, I've got, it's indisputable evidence. It's indisputable. The days, like, it's a joke. They had zero evidence for the charge they brought against me, that they made it where I could not get out, to defend myself, to show the bill of sale, all that. Wouldn't even let me speak in court at the bond hearing. Bill won't talk to me. Avent won't talk to me. Meanwhile, Bill said an accused rapist and kidnapper, a guy that kidnapped and raped a girl at Ole Miss, that multiple victims have come forward, as a joke. She set his bond at $20,000. $10,000 for each charge. $10,000 for the rape, $10,000 for the kidnapping. And that was less than a year after she set my bond at $150,000. Basically saying that a patriot, a Marine Corps veteran, who kept a gun on his hip and fought for the state flag 7.5 times. You got deployed? No, I told you I was at a non-global squadron. So my squadron, we trained new recruits, came into the Marine Corps to fly the AV-AP Harrier, and they would get assigned to a gun squadron to go overseas and drop bombs in Iraq. That's what do you mean I fought? I fought for the flag as far as the state flag of Mississippi. I advocated for the state flag of Mississippi. Because, and it's not even about that flag. It's about the will of the people. And that's the thing. It's never been about Confederate history so much. It's been about constitutional rights and constitutionals. The will of the people.
Man, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just a little confused. Where exactly is your grievance? Is it the statue? Is it the flag? Is it Tannehill? Is it Major Wilson?
My grievance in general is socialism. Okay?
Well, this office, we don't have anything to do.
I understand that, but this office played an absolutely critical part in everything. I'll tell you what happened. I know what happened. Buddy. Okay? And unfortunately, I can't put Buddy on the stand because Buddy's gone. And that's one of the reasons why there needs to be term limits on government employees and elected officials. Because somebody that's been in office for 40-something years, okay, you can't say that he didn't have all the sway in the world.
Well, I'm spoken to your representative about term limits on elected officials.
No.
That is the route to go. Speak to your representative.
But no, it's not. But that's not the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here right now was because of Sleepy right there destroying evidence.
What evidence do you have that he destroyed evidence?
His statement to the Oxford Eagle in the newspaper article saying Major Alan Wilburn says there was no allegedly. He stated that in fact. Okay, you stated in fact, you better have the evidence to back it up or else it's libel, it's slander, it's defamation, and it's under color of law, not just personal.
I haven't seen the Oxford Eagle article, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
All you got to do is just type in Matt Reardon Oxford, and it's right there on the first page of Google.
Did you make it?
What? Are you a joke?
Are you a joke?
Did I make their newspaper article?
Yeah.
I mean, think about what you're asking. You're trying to play the devil's advocate on my questions, but it doesn't even make sense what you're asking, man. Come on.
It didn't make sense to me.
I bet I'm not.
It don't make sense to me either. So you're saying a newspaper article stated that Alan Wilburn stated that you, in fact, did an alleged crime.
That I would drive by their place, so I want to know what kind of evidence he has to back the fact that I would drive by their place, their house. I don't even know where they live.
Well, that evidence will be available to you in the pre-trial phase via a motion of discovery.
I know that,
However,
but unfortunately, I was unlawfully kept in jail on a bond that would not be lowered for 6 weeks. They left me with no other option, I felt, but to plea out, to get out, to provide for my family. Because they would not give me a presumably innocent person. Because by the Constitution, all accused are innocent until proven guilty. So you have to assume that, regardless, until it's proven in court, a trial, that I'm innocent. Well, $150,000, I'd never been accused. Designation of record, as far as what all I want, I just... in something like this where the proof has come out that not only am I innocent, but this has been a conspired upon plot. So why, in answer to your question, why? 3 years later, I'm within the window to overturn this. Why would y'all not have it? Is the question I would turn back around on the sheriff's department. Why would y'all not have something? The courts are instructed that in lack of evidence, they have to look at the matter in a way that's most favorable to the one bringing the action, the motion. So if the evidence is not there, if it's been destroyed or whatever, okay?
In terms of your, in terms
of the appeal to the Supreme Court. So I just put in the designation of record as far as what all I want. I just made the claim of prosecutorial misconduct against Mickey Mallett.
Okay. And you're waiting for the Supreme Court to get back to you, right?
The Supreme Court is either going to, I'm still in the phase of getting the record, approving the record before it gets transferred to the Supreme Court. They'll either take it on themselves or they will kick it to the Court of Appeals. Regardless, what I'm really appealing right here is the fact that I was denied an evidentiary hearing. I need to have a trial. They need to undo my guilty plea because of...
given an opportunity for a trial. And you were given that opportunity. How you doing for a trial? And you pled guilty.
Don't come to me with that.
Is that not what happened?
Don't start with me on that.
You did.
I understand that. But you also know everything else around it and exactly why. I've got a psychological report from a month and a half after I got out where a psychiatrist, a psychologist is saying that I pled out under fear and duress, where I was coerced. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny that somebody's fucking life gets destroyed.
I'm looking at it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry.
You know what movie I think about? I think about Law-Abiding Citizens.
I'm about to go home. Actually,
I think about Law-Abiding Citizens.
Listen to what you're talking about, but you didn't consult with your attorney.
I know the law.
You're your own attorney, I guess you're talking to you.
I am.
I don't know. I can't hit you. I'm about to go by call. All the Supreme Court that is good, man. The reasons that you have, we can't address those. Now,
Because I have legitimate reason to be here. That's the thing. I do. We can both agree to disagree on that.
That's just my advice. I think you ought to go to the Supreme Court and address your grievances that way, because they're not going to be solved here. I mean, we're not going to go in there and pull out evidence from a case that's closed and somebody that pled guilty and bring you the evidence and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to bring to the table against you. We're not going to do that. And we don't sit here and reminisce.
So protect and serve. If I'm truly innocent, and there are in fact criminals that conspired against me to arrange this that I have proof of, the whole phrase protect and serve, why is it that I'm being denied ultimately the rights that everybody should have in making sure that the truly guilty parties are prosecuted? And the way to do that is through not obstructing it. When I have the evidence that substantiates everything that I'm saying. You know, protect and serve means protect and serve.
What evidence are you talking about?
Once again, go to my website, go to the... I've got all the proof of my innocence. I've got the guy that sold me the freaking gun that's willing to testify. I bought it on May 20th because my ex sent me a text message, a lengthy text message, saying that she knew that somebody had intent on killing me. So I went and I bought an AR-15. I bought a bulletproof vest because I was ready to go full-blown militant on whoever came freaking wanted to cause harm to myself and my family, if need be. But I wouldn't engage until they, unless they actually posed a risk to me.
Again, I think you need to go through the Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, go that route, because just coming up here hooping and hollering and getting loud and calling people cowards and stuff like that.
He is a coward.
It's not going to get you the things you're looking for, man.
But he's neglecting his obligations and responsibilities that he...
We don't have an obligation or responsibility.
You do, and it's called protecting and serving.
Not to find over evidence on a closed case of an alleged suspect.
Even if it's evidence that proves his innocence. Y'all, that's not protecting and serving. I'm sorry, but if that's actually truly the case, then I guess I'm at war with society.
They would not have...
Because this is treasonous.
They would not have collected evidence to use against you if it was going to...
They didn't have evidence. That's what I'm trying to show here. They have not a damn thing as evidence back there.
After that motion of discovery would have been great in the pre-trial phase before you pled guilty.
This is just a full-blown declaration of war.
Like I said, Matt, I got some paperwork I got to take care of, but that's my biggest piece of advice to you. Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, go that route and go from there, because you're really wasting your time up here. You know, if you want to report a crime, if you need extra patrol, if somebody's trying to hurt you or do anything, we're more than happy to help you out. You know, but as far as turning over evidence on a closed case, we're not going to do that. Not steal a suspect, not write a court order.
I'm not going to stop.
Subpoena. I understand, but I'm just saying, be smart about it.
I'm going to say the same thing to the sheriff's department. Be smart about it. Don't violate my constitutional rights again. Because, you know, right now, they're lucky enough to be outside of the window, unless I were to... There's a couple of different ways that I can, you know, do the fraudulent concealment claim. But they violate my rights again. Trust me, I studied up on the law. I know every single bit about the law, and I know exactly what all has been done to me from over the past 3 years. So, I mean, it would... I'm just gonna advise that you guys, you know, apply the law properly and evenly, and, you know, don't buy into any corruption that's being passed down from, even if one of your supervisors, you know, that's the thing. This town is split down the middle, so supports politically. This town is split, especially its departments, its agencies, through something that I call trickle-down corruption. It's a moral dilemma, because you take an oath to protect and defend, to uphold the Constitution, but then you get put into a dilemma, whether it be something passed through the board or the mayor that you know is not right, ethically, morally, and even goes against, may go against constitutional rights of citizens. But you have no choice but to do it out of fear of retaliation, of being held, of it coming against you if you don't. And I'm telling you, y'all are putting yourselves in a lot bigger harm's way by, if you are following
unconstitutional orders that are passed down and pressured. And I know it happens every day across this country in all kinds of different agencies. That's the problem, is it's getting out of hand. And there needs to be more people like me that are willing to stand up, that don't have fear when it comes to that. Truly, my only fear is the true criminals getting away with it.
Mickey.
See if I can get the application filled out.
How you doing, sir?
Trouble?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Hey, I was hoping I could talk to you.
Oh man, I can't. We can't.
It's about
Your stuff, circuit court.
No, I understand that. You did an interview with the Oxford Eagle on May 25th of 2018.
That's when the new criminals rules of procedure changed.
Yeah, so I had some questions about that in regards to you had talked about the 8th Amendment, you talked about the bond, the bail guidelines, and so I was just, if I remember correctly, you had signed off on the warrant. I know you didn't do the bond hearing.
I did not do your bond hearing.
But as far as Carol and Bill setting the bond, I know right around that time, whenever you spoke with the Oxford Eagles, she set a $20,000 bond for somebody accused of kidnapping and rape. It's $10,000 on each charge. And
Matt, I can't comment on stuff like that. I wish you good luck, okay?
Okay, is Carol and Bill here?
I don't know. You'll have to ask one of the clerks.
Okay.
I got to go sign this stuff back here. Good luck, okay?
So you're not willing to talk to me about it?
Judicial rules of conduct, we can't talk about things like that.
But you spoke to the Oxford Eagle.
The article itself explains about when the criminal rules change. But judicial rules of conduct, we can't talk about any cases or anything like that or anything happened. I wasn't the judge that said.
I understand. You and I mean, we don't have an active case or anything. It's just I'm a member of the press.
Good luck.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kicking off season 2 of Riding with the Outlaw. I just came across a very, very interesting article, and I tell you, this is one of the things it's got me real fired up. In fact, so fired up, I wish I was outside of Justice Court here in Oxford right now, calling for the direct removal of Judge Carolyn Bell. And it couldn't be any clearer, based on the rulings that she has made, that this is clearly somebody who is the biggest existential threat to society, somebody that does not need to be on the bench. In Mississippi, and I talked about this early on during the first season of Riding with the Outlaw. In Mississippi, a justice court judge does not need a law license, a law degree. They don't even need a college degree. And these very people are setting bonds, okay? And what you're going to see right here with this is you're going to see that she was clearly not going by the law, not going by the guidelines, rather ruling off of her own personal opinion, her own personal feelings. and that's something that never belongs on the bench. So Friday, May 25th, 2018, the Oxford Eagle published an article with the title, "Judges Have Guidelines, Some Leeway in Determining Bonds." I was arrested. I was ambushed on the square in Oxford on May 26th, 2017. I was never informed what crime I was being accused of until they got me to the jail, and it was there that they informed me that I was charged with aggravated stalking. And what was alarming about that is I've never stalked anybody, but even more alarming was the claim that was made. On the affidavit it said on or before May 8th of 2017 that I had put Todd and Ashley Lynch in fear of their life with an AR-15 at their place of residence. Not only do I not know where they personally live, don't care to know. They had a bar in Oxford called Frank and Marley's, and I actually used to frequent that bar every day, every other day from around the beginning of May. On May 6th, that's actually my wife's birthday, I left to go out of town to New Orleans because the statues there were coming under fire. They were looking at getting vandalized, looking at getting relocated. And so I drove down there to join a larger group of patriots. We were going to take a stand to protect history from vandals, from violence. We weren't there to cause any violence or any problems, but we were ready in the event that did break out. I ended up coming back to town, to Oxford, on the 8th of May, and it was because on May 9th, I had a Chancery Court hearing for the first of many frivolous filings by my ex, Phyllis Crowder, mother of my now 6-year-old child. It's the same one that has kept her from me for the majority of her life, unfairly. I have not seen my daughter since around January 20th, when I took her to meet up with her mom for visitation drop-off, and that was when, yet again, she made a false allegation, involved CPS in a rash attempt to try to strip my daughter out of my life. Every single time that she has made a filing or called DHS in one of these brazen attempts to try to manipulate her own outcome to basically to keep complete custody of my daughter, meanwhile taking my money, $600 a month. So I came back May 8th to deal with the Chancery matter the next day, May 9th, and I met with my attorney. His name was Charles Yao. Sat on the square, and he entered a limited appearance, and we had prepared a counterclaim against her, and he gave it to me. He gave it to me for the purpose of putting it in the mailbox, and I decided I was going to go and serve her attorney, Mona Pittman, because it was the claims they had made were that far out there. And you know what? Both of them just really pissed me off, and I really wanted to go and serve the attorney. Probably against the Mississippi Rules of Civil Procedure, but you know, it didn't matter, because to me, the false claims that she made, those superseded anything like that. So I went on a journey. I was actually on a live stream the entire time. It was probably about an hour long. I've got that live stream still. Funny thing about it, people were trying to give me directions on where to go for Mona Pittman, and Mona never kept an accurate address. Everything online, it was inaccurate. Come to find out, after a drawn-out, long, wild goose chase, Mona Pittman coincidentally worked out of the same building as Ray Tannehill on North Lamar, actually in the basement level. So to get there, you just go behind Ray's building, go down that little, it's a little drive ramp, and sure enough, right there in the back was Mona Pittman, her office. And I parked and I got out, walked into the office, and by then she had been tipped off that I was looking for her to serve her this counterclaim. And I walked into her office on the live stream. She walked out of her little cubicle area or whatever, her little corner office, and I said, "Are you Mona?" And she said, "You're not welcome here."
And I gave her the papers. I said, "You've been served." And she told me that I couldn't serve her that way. And I said, "Well, you just got served on a live stream." And she waved at the camera and said, "Hey, everybody." And I turned around and I walked out. And that video, I've got it on several things with Riding with the Outlaw. Glad I got that video. Well, so, long story short, okay, there was no way I could have committed this crime because they accused me of, on or before May 8th, putting Todd and Ashley Lynch in fear of their life with the AR-15. I didn't purchase the gun until May 20th. Have a bill of sale to prove it. Okay? And that's right there where, you know, it should have ended right there. But it didn't. And they held me in jail. They picked me up May 26th, so I was there May 26th. That was my mother-in-law's birthday, by the way. They picked a just nasty day to pull the shenanigans that they pulled. In fact, I was actually set to meet who would become my future mother-in-law that evening for dinner. Unfortunately, I never did make it to dinner time because it was probably 3-4 o'clock that I was ambushed on the square. Well, so I'm in jail night of the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, and then on the 30th, I'm taken out of my cell and brought to justice court for a bond hearing. Now keep in mind, Judge Mickey Avent was the judge who had signed, I want to say he was the judge that signed the arrest warrant. And Mickey Avent I know Mickey Avent. So he clearly had to have been influenced on this, because I don't see Mickey Avent making that kind of corrupt call on his own without some type of pressure being applied. Mickey Avent signed the arrest warrant, but he wasn't the judge for the hearing. See, I was hoping, because I knew Mickey, I was hoping the same judge would be the judge for the justice court for the bond hearing. Well, I'm in there in justice court. I'm wearing an orange jumpsuit, shackled at the wrist, the waist, and the ankles. And I'm brought over there with 3 deputies. And one of them, Caleb East, steps out of the courtroom, and about 10 minutes go by. He walks back in with Judge Bell. Judge Carolyn Bell. She's a black Democrat, and what I will find out later, of course, after all this is all over and done with, is just the complete inconsistencies of her ruling and how they go based off of personal feelings. And there have even been plenty of examples of her ruling based on skin color, political affiliation. Just, these types of people never need to be on the bench. I mean, that is the biggest threat that we have to our nation as far as, from a legal perspective, is who do we have on the courts? Are they making rules based on the law, based on the Constitution as they are written, as they're already on the books? Or are they making rules based on personal opinion, influence, and sway? because no judge should ever simply just go off of their opinion. They need to rule equivocally across the board based on the law. I would say the same thing even if it was a judge that was, in favor, politically on the same side. They need to toss politics to the side. They need to judge equally across the bench. And if they don't, they need to be tossed. There's no room in our society for judges that are not going directly by the book. A position of judge needs to be held to the highest echelon and the highest level. Alright, this article by the Oxford Eagle, it was published by Alyssa Schnug. I actually have an interview with her where I sat down. It was a day or two after my arrest, May 1st, on the square in Oxford, where I was arrested for the first time. It was the first unlawful arrest by the county by Deputy Timmy Pruitt. And I will say this, by the time I get to the end of everything with riding with the outlaw, not only is there going to be, proof beyond all reasonable doubt, but even further, I think it's going to go to prove that these people have been complete obstructionists, that the level of crime here has risen to a level of organized crime, that there is so much involvement, so much influence, that if they truly are immune from punishment, if I'm time barred because of their obstructionist tactics, and they don't if they don't overlook the time barring because of how heinous all this is and the level of involvement, and how they have purposefully obstructed the law and obstructed my life, my ability to seek justice, then there's no justice. There's truly no justice. And I don't know how they can ever expect anybody to truly follow the law whenever these people are breaking the laws worse than anybody else. Total flagrant abuse of the badge. So, the article published by the Oxford Eagle, Judges Have Guidelines, Some Leeway in Determining Bonds. This was published by Alyssa Schnug, 9 a.m. on Friday, May 25th, 2018. And it says, a person is arrested and charged with a serious violent crime against another. Within 48 hours, the suspect must go before a judge to determine whether they will be given a bond, and if so, how much and what type. And that's the truth. They have 48 hours, 2 days, to bring the person before a judge. So, why is it that May 26th, they did this ironically. This article came out exactly 1 day prior to a year after my arrest. I'm in there the night of the 26th, the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Every bit of 96 hours. Nobody has yet to give me any type of explanation as to why they could so harshly go against established requirements right there, and how all this could not be tossed immediately anyways. It goes on to say, in Oxford and Lafayette County, that job falls to the Lafayette County Justice Court and its 3 judges. The victim of the crime learns the suspect was given a reasonable bond and is back out on the streets, while the victim is 100% sure that the suspect is guilty by right of the U.S. Constitution. Everyone who is arrested is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Then goes on to say, bond is not supposed to be punitive or intended for punishment, but to ensure that defendants will appear for court hearings, said Lafayette County Justice Court Judge Mickey Avent. The 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits imposing excessive bail. In 2016, the Mississippi Supreme Court put out a recommended range of bail amounts for judges to set in felony and misdemeanor cases. All crimes except capital felonies are bailable offenses. In capital felony cases, when the proof is evident or the presumption great. And when the accused person is previously convicted of a capital offense or an offense punishable by imprisonment for a maximum of 20 years or more, a judge can deny bond. In all other crimes, judges are highly encouraged but not mandated to follow the sentencing guidelines that include manslaughter, $10,000 to $1 million, drug distribution and trafficking, $5,000 to $1 million. All other non-capital felonies, punishable by a maximum of 20 years or more, which would a lot of times be murder or something really truly serious. Minimum $20,000 to a maximum $250,000. Punishable by a maximum 10 years to 20 years. $10,000 to $100,000. Punishable by a maximum of up to 10 years. $5,000 to $50,000. And then it goes and says that misdemeanor bonds range from $50,000 to $2,000. So I found out that my charge, whenever I was arrested, brought in on the 26th, my charge was aggravated stalking, alleging on or before May 8th I put Todd and Ashley Lynch in fear of their life with an AR-15. However, I didn't purchase the gun until 12 days later, which I was trying to assert in front of the judge. At the bail hearing, she would not let me speak. Kept telling me that I had the right to remain silent. I had just gotten back into town on the 8th from New Orleans. Had no problem with the Lynches whatsoever, because Ashley Lynch didn't even throw out my chicken wings until I think it was May 18th or May 19th. Up until then, I was frequenting their bar to drink as a customer. Now, the crime of aggravated stalking is punishable by up to a $5,000 fine and not more than 3 years incarceration. So, looking at this chart, punishable by maximum up to 10 years should have been a $5,000 to $50,000 bond. I was given a $150,000 bond. That was reported on by the Oxford Eagle when they had first published the article. You know that $150,000 that I had to have collateral for all that. This chart also says judges are also encouraged to set most bonds on the lower end of the guideline ranges. Avent says the Mississippi Supreme Court has set forth certain criteria to be applied in determining the amount of bail that should be required as a prerequisite to the defendant's release. Those criteria include how long the suspect has lived in the community, their employment status, their family ties and relationships, reputation, character and mental condition, prior criminal record, nature of the offense, the level of violence and the type of weapon used, flight risk indicators, and whether the suspect poses a safety risk to the community. Now, just some facts on everything. Marine Corps veteran, okay, patriot. I made it very clear that in all my videos that I would never put anybody in fear of their life. I would never bring harm to anybody that, unless they had ill intent on, causing harm to myself or my family, like serious bodily harm or death, or to anybody, any innocent citizen. That's when I would engage. I never threatened anybody, never threatened physical harm on anybody, and it's not the type of person that I am. Although the county has done their best to try to bring that side of me out through everything, through destroying my life and everything they've done to me in 2017 up to now. I have lost all economic opportunity. I have lost 3 houses to eviction. And since that time, I've added 2 little girls to my family, technically 3. My wife, she had a 6-year-old with another relationship, best friends with my daughter, hadn't seen her for 9 months now. And then had a little girl that was born April 30th, 2018, and then had another one born Christmas Day of 2019. And both of those instances sparked jealousy with the ex, which is my assumption as to why each time she has refused me access to my child. But I just don't understand how, I don't understand how this thing has not gotten tossed a long time ago. I guess I can only imagine that these people are putting up the biggest fight known to man, because every single one of my constitutional rights basically have been destroyed. And not only just by accident, but by pure malice, by intentional hands. I've been accused of crimes that I did not nor could not have committed. My ex has taken and run with false accusation after false accusation, has played the court constantly since 2017. Her and her attorney had filed frivolous claims seeking a restraining order when I never was even trying to go onto her property anyways. I wanted to be left the hell alone to live my life. I just wanted to be a father to my daughter. But come to find out, they had filed all these just ridiculous police reports. Got 18 police reports filed over the last 5 years. I wouldn't have even known about any of them unless I would have done a public record request, which I did. And it was also through the public record request that I found out that Deputy Jared Bundren received a call on May 24, 2017, which is what sparked all this in the first place. This is what he used to find, I guess, enough information to go to a judge and get a warrant. But they would not elaborate on the call, and I've been asking for that call since then. And it has been fraudulent concealment. These people have not cared, have not shown the slightest bit of remorse, have not given me the opportunity to even present my evidence. They've denied me every opportunity for a evidentiary hearing. I have proven more and more fraud coming out of circuit court, fraudulently changing records. All I've tried to do this entire time is to get my life back, is to prove that I was innocent. I was never given the chance to have a fair trial. I pled out after 6 weeks, told that if I didn't take this plea, I was going to get railroaded with all these additional charges. The attorney told me that. Said that I needed to get out of town on a banishment, surrender my guns, or else they were going to throw the book at me, send me to Parchman on something else they would charge me with. And I fled out. I sold my soul to the devil that day. Something that I've regretted and will have to live with for the rest of my life, unless I get this overturned. And I am unwilling to back down. I pledged a lifelong oath to our country back in 2007, 10 years prior, to protect and defend it, to uphold and defend our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And this was just an all-out domestic assault on me, my rights, my family, they have done everything they can in their power to keep it destroyed and to continue their lies. They have used influence to try to pressure me to back down. And I'm sorry. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You have to take a stand against the evils in society. And even if there are certain ways that I'm doing this wrong with riding with the outlaw, I'll say this. That if I'm wrong in the approach, I'm certain of my wrongness. Always. When you commit all the way. Never back down. This is Matt Reardon, and you've been riding with the outlaw.
Our country has lost all sight of its values on which it was established. A lawless nation of laws. I've never in my life witnessed such an atrocity, and yet it serves as a daily reminder that our freedom never truly comes free. It comes at a price. We never plan to fail. Rather, we fail to plan, and that is what truly holds each and every one of us back from our true potential. Be thankful for each and every opportunity you have, and make the most of it. Be unwavering in your commitment, even if others don't agree with you. Be certain and dedicate fully, refusing to give up and back down, and most certainly in your convictions when it comes to your perceived values of right and wrong in the face of true evil. The times truly testing of your faith are here. How will your legacy reflect on you and future generations that hinge on the decisions you make today? Now is the time to take a stand for the freedoms of tomorrow. It's a decision you're going to have to make. This whole ordeal has been the biggest nightmare I can't wake up from. I knew it would be the biggest challenge of my life, but this is absolute hell. Literally hell. Nobody seems to take a damn thing seriously. The government agencies who know they are in the wrong continuously make a mockery of everything because nobody seems to hold them accountable, which in turn makes the issue at heart grow larger than life. The influence of the media seems to be a make or break on everything in today's society. I've been every bit but silent on everything. I've resonated to a point of losing my voice, and it's like the mute button has been hit the entire time. It's like a story building within a story, which undoubtedly will lead to complete devastation. Not just for me, but for everybody. I've documented, journalized, reported relentlessly. I've thrown myself into the middle of a viper pit because that's the only avenue I saw that could possibly produce a positive outcome and help remedy the horrible things and horrible people that have destroyed my life and caused society to drift so far off track as it's been headed over the past century. I made the conscious decision that I'd rather fall as a martyr on my feet to a worthy and noble cause than to ever surrender accepting defeat on my knees.
Yeah, is Carolyn Bell here?
Carolyn Bell, no, she's gone for the day.
For the day?
Yeah, she's gone.
She really is a part-time judge.
Yep, they're all part-time.
She rules like a part-time judge. I have a couple of questions for her.
She's not here, and I don't know if she'll be here tomorrow. You can call and see if she's here tomorrow before you come.
I mean, she's paid by taxpayer dollars. I would hope that she's
but
here.
They're part-time, so they actually don't have to work.
Right.
As long as they work, part-time hours, then they're part-time and not full-time.
Well, she's destroyed many lives. She destroyed my life back in 2017.
I'm not going to talk to you about that. She's not here. And,
Okay.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No. I just need to speak with,
Okay.
I was hoping to speak with her and Avent, but
The reason I've been openly documenting my journey and discoveries the way I have is to actually show the world who the true criminals are. Those set on total destruction and devastation to our way of life, to our Constitution, especially the ones in positions of power and authority that rule on their feelings instead of ruling equivocally and by established law. Those susceptible to influence, and of course the immoral and unethical influencers themselves that have used their power, money, and other means to absolutely destroy lives for their own personal gain. The ones who destroyed my life for their own personal gain. To show how low these low-life thugs hit, which is far lower than I even imagined when I tossed care and any inkling of fear to the side and said enough is enough. Hitting low is one thing, but hitting below the belt to a flagrant abuse of an unbelievably tainted legal and judicial system and steadily using that as a weapon of choice is a full-blown declaration of war on American soil, by the very definition of a domestic enemy. This is exactly what our founding fathers warned us about and had the knowledge to foresee in the future. That is why they crafted the Constitution the way they did, and that is why everything is laid out the way it is in the Declaration of Independence that preceded our Constitution. I believe the preamble says it best in saying that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I 100% declare this to be a constitutional crisis and an ethical atrocity. I have demonstrated and produced non-stop evidence supporting just that, the entire time. Beyond all doubt, this area has casted the largest cast net of lies I've ever imagined. It has fallen gullible to extremely corrupt judges, appointed and elected officials, law enforcement agencies both state, county, and federal, the liberal news media completely ignoring all evidence and proof of wrongdoing, and so have a majority of the citizens in this area. It's like every single attorney has fallen asleep at the wheel, and everybody as a whole turned completely robotic, as if they were brainwashed, as if they were being controlled, manipulated. Meanwhile, I've stayed constant, not breaking any laws, in fact quoting the laws, which have continually been broken and obstructed in order for these people, these animals, to insinuate that somehow I am the crazy one, the wrong one, that I am the criminal. It's been non-stop constant attacks hurled at me. I've been denied the right to a hearing, a trial. Lies with no proof, no evidence can be made up about me to where I am denied due process under color of law. My life destroyed, my family separated. And when I gather every last drop of evidence, 100% showing my innocence, and show every last piece of evidence that it was a conspired upon, cooked up plot to remove and continue removing my civil rights, I get denied any ability for vindication, denied a hearing, denied prosecution of the true criminals for which solid evidence shows beyond all reasonable doubt. More lies are then conjured up, which are then proven wrong. More obstruction, more attacks on me and my family. My economic opportunities are attacked and destroyed. The media acts like they don't see a thing despite everything even published. It couldn't be any clearer than what I've made it. And God help me if I hadn't have published everything along the way to corroborate every last thing I've said. Because for sure, I would be labeled as crazy by these people, and it might just stick. The problem for these people is them really truly trying to assert that makes them the crazy ones. Because the evidence is here, and it shows every single thing I've claimed from the beginning. I am a patriot, a Marine Corps veteran. I pledge an oath to the defense of our nation, to our Constitution, to protect and defend both from all enemies, foreign and domestic. We are, in fact, in a time of war, a time of uncertainty, a time prophesied about in the Bible. Evil, pure evil, has plagued society and the world we live in. It's beyond me that someone has so much sway, so much influence to control the reporting of every station in the media, to influence and control the judges, attorneys, committees that hold attorneys and judges accountable, law enforcement agencies, both state and federal, with so many in every echelon of our government. You would think that I am indeed the crazy one, and that's what they want you to believe. That's what Ray and Robin Tannehill want you to believe. And they do a phenomenal job of it, let me tell you. Impressive, mind-blowing, bravo. Controlling every facet of an already corrupt government teeter-tottling on the edge of complete chaos that in no way can and will sustain with how far off track everything has gone in society. The complete disrespect and disregard for our Constitution, our veterans, and the rights afforded to us, our unalienable rights bestowed upon us by God. A time when Democrat leaders push a mask-wearing mandate while allowing and supporting abortions, even late-term abortions, leading to an exponentially higher amount of deaths than what some introduced China virus could ever have done. See, it's all about control at any cost, and it couldn't be any more evident than the proof that has already been generated up to this point with my journey to vindicate myself and hit back hard in the producing of Riding with the Outlaw. This type of disgusting fraud and corruption, the stacking of the deck, the further politicization of the courts, and the further manipulation of the media will never be condoned by a free society still composed of patriots, militia, and all who pledged a lifelong oath to America to protect and defend against this very thing. Tyrants will never be allowed to stand on American soil. It's crystal clear that at the hands of a socialist mayor and her puppeteer husband, that the city of Oxford and its surrounding areas have become Constitution-disregarded zones that are not ruled upon by law, but rather ruled upon by mob and influence. It has forever destroyed the integrity of the state that I held in high regard at one time, when its citizens actually had a backbone, understood right from wrong, had a strong knowledge and showing of ethics, rejected socialism and its ways brought about through the tyrannic ones at the top of the pyramid, throwing their influence to bring about whatever change they desire without regard or care for our established laws, our supreme laws, and human decency. As I've said, animals, disgusting animals, that have taken society to a point of being at war with itself. The people that will be responsible for the largest bloodshed in the history of the world when the Second Civil War breaks out within the boundaries of this once great nation, and it's lingering on the horizon.